All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Some months ago I had a letter from a man who stated that he couldn't understand why everybody around him annoyed him. I asked him to come and see me, and in talking with him I discovered that he was constantly rubbing others the wrong way. He did not like himself and was full of self-condemnation. He spoke in a very tense, irritable tone. His acerbity of speech grated on one's nerves. He thought meanly of himself, was highly critical of others. I explained to him that while his unhappy experiences seemed to be with other people, his relationship with them was determined by his thoughts and feelings about himself and them. I elaborated on the fact that if he despises himself, he cannot have goodwill and respect for others. It's impossible, because it is a law of mind that he is always projecting his thoughts and feelings onto his associates and all those around him. That's called projection. He began to realize that as long as he projected feelings of prejudice, ill will, and contempt for others, that is exactly what he would get back, because his world is but an echo of his moods and attitudes. I gave him a mental and spiritual formula which enabled him to overcome his irritation and arrogance. He decided to write consciously the following thoughts in his subconscious mind. Remember, your conscious mind is the pen, and you can write anything you want in your subconscious mind. This is what he wrote. I practice the golden rule from now on. I mean it. Which means that I think, speak, and act towards others, as I wish others to think, speak, and act towards me. I walk serenely on my way, and I am free, for I give freedom to all. I sincerely wish peace, prosperity, and success to all. I am always poised, serene, and calm. The peace of the infinite floods my mind and my whole being. Others appreciate and respect me as I appreciate myself. Life is honoring me greatly, for it has provided for me abundantly. The petty things of life no longer irritate me or annoy me. When fear, worry, doubt, or criticism by others come to me and they knock at my door, faith and goodness, truth and beauty opens the door of my mind. There's no one there. The suggestions and statements of others have no power. I know now how to cure hurt feelings. The only power is in my own thought. When I think God's thoughts, God's power is with my thoughts of good. I know the thoughts of others have no power except the power that I give them. They have to become my thoughts, and then it becomes a movement of my own thought. He affirmed these truths morning, noon, and night, and he committed the whole prayer to memory. He poured into these words life, love, and meaning, and by osmosis these ideas penetrated the layers of his subconscious mind. And he became a changed man. He said to me, I'm learning how to specialize myself out of the law of averages. I'm getting along fine. Have received 2 promotions in the past 2 months. I now know the truth of the passage. I, if I be lifted up, will draw men, all manifestation unto me. Lift it up in your mind. He learned the trouble was within himself. He decided to change his thoughts, feelings, and reactions. Any man can do the same. It takes decision, stick-to-itiveness, a keen desire to transform oneself. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, there is one mind common to all individual men, and every man is an inlet to the same and to all of the same. He also said, he who is admitted to the right of reason is a free man of the whole estate. Begin to realize this. Realize that infinite intelligence, the guiding principle of the universe, is within you. And the infinite healing presence controls all your vital organs and all the processes and functions of your body. You have the capacity to make choices, to use your imagination, and all the other powers of God within you. Your mind is actually God's mind. When you consciously, decisively, and constructively use the infinite power within, you become a free man of the whole estate. Emerson inspires you to enlarge the concept of yourself when he announced this profound truth. What Plato has thought, man may think. What a saint has felt, he may feel. What at any time has fallen any man, he can understand. Who had access to the universal mind is a party to all that is or can be done. For this is the only and sovereign agent. Emerson was America's greatest philosopher and one of the greatest thinkers of all time. He was constantly in tune with the infinite. He urged all men to release the infinite possibilities within them. Emerson taught the dignity and grandeur of man, and pointed out to his listeners that the great appear great to us because we are on our knees, that we attribute greatness to Plato and others because they acted upon what they themselves thought, and not upon what other people believed or what others thought they should think. Begin to have a lofty, noble, and dignified concept of yourself, and the petty things of life will no longer irritate you. If they do, you're emotionally immature, you're suffering from infantilism. That's why people say, why don't you be your age? Why don't you grow up? Are your feathers easily ruffled when someone says, get on the ball, you're behind the 8 ball in your department? Or do you take it in a stride and say, well, he's right, I'm going to have a better showing the next time? Yes, remember what the psalmist said to all men, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. And you are. Everyone is a child of the Most High. The infinite is within you. There's the right way to talk, to walk, to drive a car, to bake a cake. There's the right and wrong way to do everything. To live a full and happy life, you must live according to principles. You would not think of building a wheel-off center violating the principle of electricity or chemistry. Likewise, when you think, speak, act, and react from the standpoint of the infinite intelligence within you, you will find that your whole life will be one of joy, happiness, success, and peace of mind. Mrs. Wrongway was jealous and hateful towards the supervisor in her office. Oh, yes, she was suffering from hurt feelings. She had developed ulcers and high blood pressure. However, she became interested in the spiritual principle of forgiveness and goodwill. She realized that she had accumulated many resentful and grudging attitudes, and that these negative and obnoxious thoughts were festering in her subconscious mind. She tried to talk with her supervisor in an effort to straighten matters out, but the woman brushed her off. In a continuing effort to correct the situation, Mrs. Wrongway applied the principles of harmony and goodwill for 10 minutes every morning and night prior to going to work. This is what she did. She affirmed as follows: I surround Mrs. X with harmony, love, peace, joy, and goodwill. Now, this is not mumbo-jumbo. She knew what she was doing and why she was doing it. These thoughts or ideas sink into the subconscious. There's only one subconscious mind, and the other person picks it up. She said, there are harmony, peace, and understanding between us. Whenever I think of Mrs. X, I will say, God's love saturates your mind. A few weeks passed, and Mrs. Wrongway went to San Francisco for a weekend. And boarding the plane, she discovered that the only vacant seat was the one next to her supervisor. She greeted her cordially and received a cordial and loving response. They had a harmonious and joyous time together in San Francisco. They are now attending these lectures on Sunday morning at the Wilshire Ebell Theatre. Infinite intelligence set the stage for the solution of this difficulty in ways that Mrs. Wrongway didn't know, for the ways of your subconscious are past finding out. As the heavens are above the earth, so are its ways above your ways. Mrs. Wrongway's changed thinking had changed everything, including a perfect healing of her ulcers and high blood pressure. She was hurting herself. The other person is not responsible for the way you think, or feel. You are, because you are the only thinker in your universe. And you are responsible for the way you think about your congressman, your senator, or anybody else. The other fellow is not. I recall a young woman saying to me one time, everybody in my office dislikes me. There are several who want me fired. I said to her, why don't you resign and find another position? She said, what's the use? I've had 6 jobs this year so far. This young lady had a brilliant mind, was well educated, and was an outstanding legal secretary. 90% of her problems was in her personality. Did you know that? That 90%, over 90% of all the problems in the factory, in the school, in business, and government, in the home, are not technical. They're men's and woman's inability to get along with others. They're rubbing others the wrong way. Personality conflicts, personality troubles. Over 90% of her problem was in her personality, with the tendencies to blame others, I gave her a spiritual prescription and suggested that she take it regularly, morning and night, for several months. I told her to pray the following prayer for every man and woman in her office every day before she went to work. This is what she did. I send out loving thoughts and feelings of goodwill, happiness, and joy to all those in my office. I affirm, claim, and believe that my relationship with each one of my co-workers will be harmonious, pleasant, and satisfactory. Divine love, harmony, peace, and beauty flow through my thoughts, words, and deeds, and I am constantly releasing the imprisoned splendor within me. I am happy, joyous, and free, bubbling over with enthusiasm, and I rejoice in the goodness of God in the land of the living, and in the innate goodness of all people. Now this is something she reiterated, remained faithful to, and when thoughts of anger, criticism, or being hurt came to her, she would pour forth goodwill upon others. At the end of 2 months, she received a wonderful promotion and was put in complete charge of the entire legal office. For example, a thought comes to you, you'd like to wring somebody's neck. Well, what's to prevent you from saying God's peace fills your soul? Not a thing in the world. Law substitution. Takes a little practice. Anyone can do it who wants to do it. How much do you want what you want? Do you want to give up your grudges, your hurt feelings, your resentment, antagonism, and get good digestion and normal blood pressure? You have to give up something, you know. A man whom I was interviewing recently said to me, I'm all mixed up and tied up. I can't get along with others. I'm constantly rubbing them the wrong way. This young man was hypersensitive, jittery, self-centered, and crotchety. In spite of all this, he wanted to have good relations with his co-workers and to get along with them in every respect. I explained to him that his present personality represented the sum total of his habitual thinking, training, indoctrination, and emotional atmosphere, plus the sum total of beliefs inculcated upon his mind, but that he could transform himself. I explained to him that infinite indwells him, that all the attributes, potencies, qualities, and aspects of the infinite were lodged in his deeper mind, could be resurrected and expressed in his personal life. I gave him the following prayer for the purpose of transforming his entire personality. You're transformed by the renewal of your mind, you know. He affirmed feelingly and lovingly several times a day, God is the great personality, the one life being expressed through me. God is the infinite life principle within me, and this presence flows through me now. As harmony, joy, peace, love, beauty, and power. I am a channel for the divine, in the same way that a bulb is a channel for electricity. The wholeness, beauty, and perfection of the infinite are constantly being expressed through me. Today I am reborn spiritually. I completely detach myself from my old way of thinking. I bring divine life, love, truth, and beauty into my experience. I consciously feel love for everyone. I radiate it. I exude it. Mentally I say to everyone I contact, I see the divine presence in you. I know you see the divine presence in me. I recognize the qualities of the infinite in everyone. I practice this morning, noon, and night. It is a living part of me. I am reborn spiritually now, because all day long I practice the presence of the infinite. No matter what I am doing, whether I'm walking along the street, shopping, or going about my daily business, whenever my thought wanders away from the infinite, I bring it back to the contemplation of the divine, holy presence. I feel noble, dignified, and godlike. I walk in a high mood, sensing my oneness with the infinite. His peace fills my soul. Has this man made a habit of allowing attributes and qualities of the infinite good to flow through his mind? His whole personality underwent a marvelous change, because a personality is the sum total of your thinking, your feeling, your beliefs, your conditioning. He became affable, amiable, urbane, and increased in understanding. He now communicates vibrancy and goodwill wherever he goes. In addition, he's moved up several rungs on the ladder of success in the field of work. Great peace have they who love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. And the law is, I am that which I contemplate. I am that which I feel myself to be. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. With your eyes stayed on God, there is no evil on your pathway. Divine love goes before you today and every day, making straight, joyous, glorious, happy your way.